there, I'm Chaz with Board Game Geek here with Randy from Steve Jackson Games, and you are going to take us through Deadly Doodles and perhaps even Deadly Doodles 2.
No, yeah, Deadly Doodles has been out for, gosh, almost a year now, maybe even more.
Okay.
It's not a roll and write because you don't roll any dice.
Okay.
So that would be a misnomer. It is instead a draw and draw because you draw cards and then draw on the board.
I get it.
Deadly Doodles is self-contained. It's got enough pieces for 4 players to play.
Okay.
All the cards and 4 dry erase markers.
Okay.
To play Deadly Doodles 2, you need the cards and the dry erase markers from the first one.
So before we get to Deadly Doodles 2,
Absolutely.
what is the foundation of gameplay that Deadly Doodles sets?
The foundation of gameplay.
That's
Like a roll and write,
yes.
we are all trying to get the most points at the end using the same resources. In this case, the resources are going to be whatever cards are drawn, and this is a sampling of the cards.
Okay.
So you are traveling through this dungeon, whose art is done by Katie Cook, and you are coming in from one or more entrances. In this particular game, you can just keep making more inroads in from the side, or connecting on to whatever you've already drawn.
Okay, so I might like start here and come in, or start here. Okay.
Or both.
Okay.
You might start in one spot and go, I really need this thing from the other side.
Okay.
At the end of 7 rounds, each round we're going to draw 4 cards at random. There are a lot more than these. I just pulled out these 4. This is an example. There are more numerically of these cards, but these are all of the types of cards present.
Okay.
So draw 2 is pretty self-explanatory. Trap, we can talk about that later. But the rest of these, you're going to draw these shapes any way you want, and everyone who's playing is
Okay, so like
on
this,
the board.
I might kind of, well, I imagine I have to come in from the bottom, so I might just kind of...
Nope. You can come in from any of these entrance arrows that you so choose.
Okay, but the line I would imagine has to connect to
Yes.
the... Okay.
They're gonna come in at an arrow and end at one of these little diamonds. One of the only rules is you can't run into one of these black walls.
Makes sense.
You have to
Keep going.
either end in the middle of the space or touch the diamond as just like these are a little diagram of it.
All right.
Your goal is to cross through things and get points. What kind of things get you points? There's a little scoring thing at the bottom. So at the end of 7 rounds, you're going to get 2 points for every bag of loot you've crossed through or stopped in. If you've gone through the dragon, each one of those bags of loot's worth 4 points.
Ah, okay.
And you can do a little tick mark down here to say, so at the end, scoring is easier for you.
Nice.
+1 for each weapon you've collected. +4 for each monster as long as you have also collected the weapon.
Okay.
If you did not collect the weapon and you did collect the monster, you lose 2 points.
Okay, because you don't have the weapon to defend yourself.
Right.
Okay.
And those are only calculated at the end, so you can get the monster first and go get the weapon later. As long as you have them both, it counts at the end.
Okay.
Let's see. +1 for each unused entryway. If you did only come in on one and make one path, you're going to get a few bonus points. It may not be worth it to you, but it could be.
Okay.
And then -2 for each unused cards. On the first board, it's not really relevant, but you could have a spot where you're just saying, I really don't want to play this dead end. There were 4 dead ends, and it's really going to just mess up everything. I'll throw away 2 points here.
Okay, for the greater good.
For the greater, later on I'll have more options because I didn't, but I'm down a card. In some of these more difficult boards, you won't have a choice. It will just be you cannot.
Okay.
Because there's nothing available to you.
Okay.
You go through. The last one is traps. When a trap comes up, it's the only thing you don't have to connect to an entryway or something you've already drawn. You put it secretly anywhere on your board that doesn't have something you've drawn already or some picture behind it.
Okay.
So you could put it in an entryway, or you could put it here or here. At the end of the game, when we're scoring, we'll say, okay, I've got a trap in, let us say, C6.
Sure.
I'll say I've got one in C6. And we will go around the table. If anyone else has a trap in C6, we have set each other's traps off. We're punished, and everybody else can move about their business freely. If not, anyone who drew a line unknowing through C6 will lose 3 points.
Oh my.
And there are 2 total traps in the game, so if there are 4 of us playing, there could be 8 traps out there. I might hit 6 of them.
That adds up quick.
Or people bounce off of each other. It's a fun little game. It doesn't take very long. Young children can get it. Young adult, you playing through it more than once, you're like, all right, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try this.
Okay.
Unlike many roll and writes, for some reason they got it in their head. They had to be perfectly symmetrical on the board. Like, it's natural, but
Yeah.
it's really unnecessary because we're all playing with the same board. We went out of our way to make it asymmetrical because we are all, no matter what it's shaped like, it's fair to each of us because it's the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
And that was specifically true in Deadly Doodles. Deadly Doodles 2,
Yes. What does this add in the mix?
it adds 4 copies each of these 3 new boards, which are double-sided.
Oh, nice.
And it adds 1 die. A few mechanics with it. So you may say, okay, we want to play a Deadly Doodles 2 board. We'll roll. That's a 5. We'll all play with board 5. We have to all use the same board. Otherwise, I put a trap here, and you may not even have that square. It may not be legitimate on yours.
Makes sense.
So it's got a few other mechanics. They'll be explained in the rules. Things like cursed gems and diamonds and special doors.
So there's a few extra wrinkles in the dungeon itself as well.
Once you know what's there and you're looking for a little more,
Yeah.
a little more depth, Deadly Doodles 2 is that depth.
Okay. And you mentioned that Deadly Doodles has been out for about a year or so now. What's the production schedule for Deadly Doodles 2 look like?
I've seen it around the office. I believe it's very close, if not out now.
Excellent.
When I go on a video, I should know the exact date of the product I'm pitching.
Don't feel bad. I don't know it either.
Well,
But we'll
I
find
know a great site we could go to that's going to have all that information. You could go to BGG. That's going to have great information. And if for some reason it's not there, stevejacksongames.com
That'll work.
is going to have it.
That'll absolutely work. Okay. And do you know, does this increase the player count at all?
No.
Okay.
The only reason the player count is limited at its 4-person count is that card right there.
The trap
If
card.
I have 12 people in, there are so many traps.
Yep.
We have played variants where we've said, okay, we want to play with everyone online. And we'll have maybe 4 people sitting at a table like this and do a live stream of it. And we will take the traps out, and we will have another individual place traps in 2 spots who isn't playing. All of us will play, including anyone at home. And then we will all deal with whatever traps come up from that individual. So we only have the 2 traps to deal with. It can be done. There's small house rule workarounds
Yeah,
for anything.
definitely.
So
right.
we've done stuff like that.
Cool. So if exploring a spooky little dungeon and doodling in it sounds interesting to you, be sure to, or if you're at the Steve Jackson Games offices apparently and you want to check it out, that's Deadly Doodles 2. And check out the Steve Jackson website or Board Game Geek for more specifics on retail time and also price point and everything else.